Good afternoon. Welcome to Grade 12 English First Additional Language. Today we are going to continue with the series of language lessons that are applicable for Grade 11 and Grade 12. Today we are going to look at specifically comprehension. We are going to look at the visual and the written text of the comprehension, how it is asked in your question papers, and how you are supposed to answer it. It is a beautiful day to learn something new, so here we go. Remember, comprehension is the decoding and understanding of written and visual text. So comprehension skills are not only for the classroom, but are life skills that need to be developed. You first learn to read, but later you read to learn. I'm going to help you with that today. So what is comprehension? You read the text with the purpose of understanding it and being able to answer questions about the text after reading it. Now, I've seen a lot of the grade 12 and grade 11 learners have a problem with comprehending, in other words, understanding what you read. And then you waste a lot of time of your test or your exam on going over and over and over it again. So I'm going to try to give you a few tips on how to do it more clearly and how to do it more comprehensive. So here are a few steps to follow when answering a comprehension test. Now remember, when you get the comprehension test in front of you, take very careful note of the title before you start reading. The title may offer a clue to the contents and the intention of that passage. The second thing you have to take note of is the author. It may help you to identify the era or the style and often the subject. And then important, the introduction creates the atmosphere and provides the setting for what is to follow. So pay very careful attention to your introduction. And then just as important is your conclusion that usually ties up the intention of the author. So what do you do first? You read through the comprehension questions first. Now, when you do this, you will see that it will give you clues leading to answers in the passage. All right, so read through the questions first. The second part, highlight the main question words in your questions. Now we're going to concentrate on the question words just now, but it's question words like who, what, where, when, why, how. All right. And then we're going to concentrate on words like describe. We're going to look for quote. We're going to look for give your opinion. We're going to look for true or false. All of those things. Then you take your highlighter and you highlight the questions that count more than 1 mark. Go to the mark allocation and highlight those so that you know you have to give more information on that. Right, now you go to the text. Now you read through the text thoroughly. All right, so within detail and concentrating so that you can understand. In other words, when you read through this, you're going to be aware of what has been asked because you've seen the questions. So now you can highlight the main idea of each paragraph. So you're supposed to see that each paragraph presents a new idea. And if you look at the first sentence of each paragraph, that is often the key sentence. Right, and then words and ideas that are at first confusing or difficult may become clearer in context because you've seen the questions. All right, so the more familiar you are with the passage, the easier it should become to interpret and understand what you are reading. Read through the text for a second time and try to highlight some of the answers in the text, right? Again, if it was necessary for you to go back to the questions, it's fine, right? I would say if you read through the text the first time, I would quickly glance at the questions again and then go through the text for the second time. And then your final step, read through your questions again and start to answer. Remember, if a question says refer to paragraph 1, your answer will be in paragraph 1. Only look at that. Read your questions carefully. There's a lot of clues inside your questions with a comprehension. Now, tips on answering it. Always answer in full sentences, right? Always answer in full sentence unless the question requires only one word. Then you give only one word. People don't write more than one word. Okay, if you go to McDonald's, the drive-thru, and you order a Happy Meal and you get to the front window and you get a salad, you're not going to be happy. Just like that, the marker will not be happy. I asked for one word, now you give me 4. You're not going to receive your mark. So unless you ask for one word answers, you write your answer in full sentences. The third one, do not start your answers with but, because, or and, right? That comes in with answers in full sentences. So never start your sentence with but, because, or and. Those are conjunctions. They are in the middle of two sentences. They're not supposed to be at the beginning of a sentence. Very important to look at the mark allocation of each question. This will determine the length of your answer. Again, you can't expect 2 marks if you only write one short sentence. For 2 marks, you will have to give more information. It's usually you making a statement and giving a motivation using the words because, etc. So you have to give me enough information that I will be able to give you 2 marks, right? One sentence, short sentence, will not give you 2 marks. Then always write your answers in your own words. Write your answers in your own words unless you are asked to quote. Right? If you are going to write directly from the passage in all your answers, you are going to be penalized. I want to see, do you understand what this writer wanted to tell you? Are you able to tell me in your own words what this writer was trying to tell you? You can't get the marks if you rewrite the words of the passage exactly like it is. Right, so do not quote unless you're asked to do so. When you're asked to quote, do it correctly, right? Do it correctly. Quote is like on a computer, copy and paste. If you make a mistake when you quote, you will not receive that mark. So please make sure that you write down the quote correctly. Do not use SMS language or abbreviation. You have to use formal language, full sentences. Abbreviations is totally out. It's not tolerated. You write it out or you leave it out. There's not an abbreviation written in your answers in a comprehension test. Right, now we're going to look at the type of questions, and this is where it came in for the question words that you needed to highlight. Now, there are easy questions in a comprehension and the following type of questions. There will be who questions, and that refer to people. A typical example of a who question is, who brought the gift? And your answer in a full sentence will be, Mary brought the gift. Right, then you have what question. So your keyword at the first one is who. Your second keyword is what. What questions? It refers to things. So what was the gift? is the question. And then the gift was a new cell phone. Again, full sentence. Right. And then your next keyword is where. Where questions refer to places. Where is the gift now? And it is the gift is on the table. Remember, we always answer in our own words in full sentences. Our next keyword is when. Now, when question refer to time. When did she buy the gift? In a full sentence, she bought the gift yesterday. Not only yesterday, she bought the gift yesterday. Full sentence. And then the last keyword on this section is how. So how question refer to the way something happened. How did Sarah feel about the gift? And in a full sentence, Sarah was very happy about the gift. So our first section, the keywords who, what, where, when, how. Those are all words that you can highlight when you go through your questions. The next section is more difficult questions. We have why questions, and this refers to the reasons why something has happened. Now, an example of that is, why did Mary bring a gift to the party? And then your answer, she brought a gift because it was Sarah's birthday. Now, with questions like these, you can not only depend on the information in the text, right? The question might also read, give a reason for. So you must think a bit further. You must be able to understand the situation that the writer is describing there, because the answer may not be written explicitly in the text. You will have to make an assumption, or you may have to give a reason, make your own conclusion there. So you cannot only depend on information in the text, you have to read into the situation. Then the next one, some questions are about implied information, also information not directly given in the text. So the question might be, what is implied in the text when it says, Sarah cried tears of happiness? Then your answer must be, it is implied that she was happy and excited about her new phone. So you see here, usually, if you only read the text straightforward, if someone cries, they are usually sad. But you must understand that those were tears of happiness. So you have to read into the implication that the writer made there. So these are questions that you have to think about, and then you give an answer. True or false questions, right? The question may say whether the following is true or false. Give a reason for your answer. Sarah is unhappy. That would be false. Sarah cried tears of happiness when she opened her gift. Remember, you do not quote unless you're asked to quote, yeah? You write your own words. You give the answer in your own words in full sentences. First of all, you have to write down whether the statement is true or false. And remember, you do not receive a mark for writing true or false. Only if your motivation is correct. Right, and then if your motivation is correct, but your true or false is incorrect, you will not receive the mark. In some cases, they will tell you the following statement is true. Give a reason why. And then you must give a reason why that statement is true. Again, you have to read your instruction or your question very carefully, very, very carefully. Right, then quotations. Right, these questions require a specific word or words from the text. Again, read carefully. Does the examiner want one word or 2 words or 5 words? You write down exactly what the question asks. So this one says, quote 1 word from the text to prove that Sarah was excited about her gift. See the quotation marks. The spelling is correct. I only quoted 1 word. You have to use the quotation marks, and when you quote a word or a phrase from the text, it must be exactly as it is in the text. As I said, it must be as if you're working on a computer and you are doing copy and paste the whole time. Again, be very sure. If you have to quote one word, then it must only be one. If you have to quote more than one, make very sure that you follow the instructions of the question very, very carefully. Right, explaining, again, questions on your opinion. Now, this type of question asks your opinion on a subject or what you think about that subject. Now, example of that is, do you think that friends should give each other expensive gifts like cell phones? Give a reason for your answer. Now, the answer that we've given there is no, I don't think it's a good idea, because in the passage it states that when you give an expensive gift to your one friend, all your friends will expect expensive gifts too. I would not want to create that type of expectations, even if the question is asking for your opinion. Your answer must always be text-based. In other words, your opinion must be based on information in the text. Okay, you have to write down what is written in the text in your own words, and then you can give your opinion based on the first part of the question. So remember, first read the questions and highlight the keywords as well as the mark allocations that count more than one mark. It's very important that you highlight your keywords, your question words, so that you know what to concentrate on. Makes it easier to know what you're looking for. And it's very important that you highlight the mark allocations, that is more than one mark, that you remember, I have to give more than the basic information. I have to give information that is worth the 2 marks. Right. After reading the questions, you can then read the text. Whilst reading, highlight potential answers for the question. Highlight some of the keywords in your paragraphs, that you know what your paragraphs are about. Then, very important, always write your answers in your own words. Remember, you're going to lose marks if you write it directly as it is from the passage. Then, always write in full sentences unless they ask for only one word. So do not start your sentence with but, because, and those are conjunctions. You write in full sentences in your own words. When there's a multiple choice question, please follow the instructions very clearly and write down only the letter for the multiple choice question. Right. So, and these answers are usually close in meaning and need to be clearly and carefully analyzed. Your options of the multiple choice. It's often used to test your vocabulary or synonyms and antonyms. All right. So again, make very sure about the answering requirements. And then when you are asked to quote, always use quotation marks. Now, with quotes, you can be asked to quote consecutively. Those are words that stand next to each other, or separate. It's anywhere from the text, or it can be one word. All right. So please use quotation marks. Make very, very sure there's no spelling mistakes. When you quote, it must be exactly like it is from the text. All right. And then when it says quote 4 consecutive words, it means those 4 words stand directly next to each other. If it's quote 1 word or quote 2 words, it can be separate words anywhere from the text. Right. And then very, very important, always, always write clearly and neatly to avoid any problems that you may encounter in your paper. Then true or false questions, you will either get a 0 or 2 marks for this question. You don't get a mark for only true or false. And remember, your motivation must fit with whether you said true or false. All right, and make very sure what the question says. Does it give you this statement is true? Then you have to motivate why it's true or false in the same way, or must you say true or false? But remember, you do not get a mark for only true or false. Then opinion questions. Remember, your answer must be based on the text, all right? But you are asked to give your response to what you have read. So you may have to assess a character or a given situation. You will also be asked to comment on the writer's style, intention, thoughts, and feelings. Do you agree with, or do you think the writer was justified in saying? And you must be able to substantiate your opinion. All right. In literature, we do the following, going to do the following here as well. Make a point. All right. And then give an example from the text and then explain the above example by adding your opinion. Okay. So you make a point. I agree or I disagree, or I feel that the writer was justified. Give an example from the text, because according to the text, in your own words, and then you explain, therefore, I feel that, and then you give your opinion, right? Remember, you can't just give your opinion and it's not text-based, because then your answer is generic and we cannot award a mark for that. Right, the second part of the comprehension, usually in your exam paper, is a visual text, and it's much shorter, but it's very important. Now, steps to writing the visual comprehension questions in the exam. Step 1. First of all, visual means picture. So you look at all the details in the picture. For example, what is the content of the picture? If there are people in the picture, what are they doing? Where are they? Look at the facial expressions of the people in the picture, the body language of the people in the picture, the gestures the people are using in the picture, the use of light and darkness in the picture, the positioning of each part of the picture. What is the front? What is the background or center of the picture? And then think about the mood created by this picture. How does it make you feel? So step 2 then. Now you've looked at the picture. Now you have to read the words and link them to the picture. So you read the words in the heading of the picture and the words below the picture. Read the words, read it with understanding. And then you look at the picture again, all right? And then think about how the words support what you see in the picture. So in other words, how does the picture link with the words? How does it fit together? All right. And then step 3, you answer the question. So you read the question for text B and you answer them, obviously going back to the picture and the words, all of those things to answer these questions. If we have a look at an example of a visual text. On your screen, you have a woman ziplining, and she looks very happy and very confident. And then the words are saying the journey to confidence. When you are self-assured, you can tackle challenges head on. But self-belief does not come naturally to everyone. Sometimes you need some help on the way to a more confident you. Right, now first of all, let's look at the picture. Step 1. Right, so we are going to look at the content. There are people in the picture. It's a woman. She is ziplining. All right. In nature, she's high above the ground. If we look at the facial expression and the body language, we can see she's smiling and it looks as if she's happy. She is confident. All right. And then we are looking at the gestures, the use of light and darkness, etc. The gestures, she's giving us a signal that she's okay, and we can see it looks like a very nice atmosphere. And how does this make you feel? It makes me feel excited. It makes me feel confident, makes me feel as if I want to do that too. So now we're going to look at the words, the heading, Journey to Confidence. All right. When you are self-assured, you can tackle challenges head on. But self-belief does not come naturally to everyone. Sometimes you need some help on the way to a more confident you. So this woman looks like she is confident and happy with herself. She has been through the journey to confidence. Right, if we look at the questions, refer to the following. You can tackle challenges head on. That is part of the words. The word head on in the context of text B means A, facing challenges directly, B, hitting challenges with your head, C, thinking about challenges often, D, avoiding challenges. Right, so this is immediately we can see a multiple choice question. We have to look at the words head on, and obviously our answer would be number A, facing challenges directly. Again, very important, read your question. If it is said there, write down only the correct letter of the answer that you choose. You only write down A. Then in your own words, so very important, this is part of your instructions here, that you have to use your own words. So in your own words, explain what is meant by journey to confidence. Look at the mark allocation. You should have highlighted that. That is 2 marks. So you have to explain what is meant by journey to confidence. And they are obviously talking about the heading, right? And then confidence is not achieved easily. It takes some time to become confident. That's enough information for 2 marks, right? So it is not achieved easily, and it does take some time to become confident, right? Not everyone started out like that. And then number 3, how is the idea of self-confidence supported by the picture? You will always get a question like that, where they are asking you how the two fit together, the words and the picture. So how is the idea of self-confidence supported by the picture? And now you look at the woman. So the girl is smiling and looking confident. She's not afraid to hang on a rope in mid-air. That is how she shows her self-confidence. Right, so step 1, we look at the picture, we look at all the details in the picture, and we think about the mood created by the picture. And remember, step 2, we read the words and then we link them to the picture. So the linking is very, very important there, because you have to show that you understand, that you see what the link between the picture and the words is. You have to show me when I mark that you can see the words are supporting the picture and the picture is supporting the words, and then you answer the questions in this text. Right, so that concludes our lesson on the written and the visual text that you will encounter in your comprehension test in paper 1 of language. Right, and remember what I told you. Comprehension skills are not only for the classroom, but are life skills. How do I better my comprehension? Comprehension is to read with understanding. It's to practice. I have to read and read and read some more. And please, you can only do that by yourself, is reading. And remember, you first learn to read and later you read to learn. Right, I hope you all enjoyed this lesson as much as I did. I will see you all again tomorrow. Please stay safe, make wise choices. Have a wonderful afternoon. Goodbye.